And thank you both to Canning House and Latam Investor for inviting me to join the panel today. What I think is a very opportune moment. This is not the first time that I'll be speaking together with Ministers Prado and Bermeo. We've been doing a double act over the last couple of weeks, so it's a pleasure that I'm able to do so again today and present some of the opportunities as I see it from Her Majesty's government's view of Ecuador looking ahead. I think it's fair to say that the 12th of April was a significant boost for business and business opportunities in Ecuador. After the sort of wave of popularism that we had seen in Latin America, with pros and cons, to get a business-friendly government taking power in Ecuador was a massive boost to the private sector, both in Ecuador, but overseas as well, seeing from the international community standpoint. And I think the message that that has sent around the world, but also I hope to UK companies particularly, but also to Ecuadorian companies looking for new markets overseas in the UK, is that there is now a country that's open for business, is business friendly, and is wanting to do as much as possible to help companies do business. We have a private sector-led government. That means that the government now is taking active measures to make it as easy as possible for companies to do business in Ecuador, but also looking at new markets for Ecuadorian companies overseas. We're working hand in hand with them. We've been working very closely with Minister Prado over the past couple of weeks, and again with Minister Bermeo, to promote the opportunities in their two sectors. We'll hear probably from Minister Prado about his drive for greater competitiveness in Ecuador. And from my perspective, I see greater competitiveness in Ecuador as an opportunity for opening markets for UK companies to do business in Ecuador, but also opening new markets for Ecuadorian products in the UK. So there's this symbiotic relationship. With Minister Bermeo, we'll hear his vision of how he sees the energy sector developing. And in particular, probably more about renewable energy and the need for greater renewable energy as we move forward. But he covers three key areas, not just energy, he covers mines and hydrocarbons as well. So again, there will be different perspectives and different opportunities across those. And one of the areas where we have been talking with his ministry, and we were talking the other week in an event on climate change, was about the potential for renewable mining. So again, we'll hear from the ministers on their perspectives on that, but we have already seen opportunities and we're already promoting opportunities within Ecuador. One of Ecuador's first moves, in fact, when the new government came in, was to look to rejoin the regional arbitration entity, mediation entity, based out of Chile. That in itself was another positive message, another sort of positive step forward for international companies in terms of greater judicial security. What companies look for is the security to do business in a country. And what a private sector-led government is giving at this moment are the messages that will enable that, because they know what companies need, because they come from the private sector. And of course, for the UK, this new era of a private sector-led government who is open to doing business, who wants to attract more foreign direct investment into Ecuador, who wants to attract more companies to come and do business in Ecuador, as well as looking overseas, chimes perfectly with the fact that we now have a new trade agreement that's been in place since January this year. We're already working hand in hand with Minister Prado's team to promote that trade agreement to both Ecuadorian companies and UK companies. I see this as a tool to deliver what the Ecuadorian government is trying to do, what they want to do, the vision they want to project of a more business open Ecuador, more Ecuador in the world and more of the world in Ecuador, to sort of use President Lasso's own term. I think a perfect tool to do this is the new trade agreement that we have. It's there to be used. We've never used it to its full potential in the past. So my job and the job of my trade team in the embassy over the next 4 years will be to make sure that we use that trade agreement to its full potential. And in looking to use that, I think we need to sort of try and specify or try and look at what areas we perceive from our point of view as opportunities for UK business. And I would probably bring these down to probably 5 different areas at the moment, although I think there are opportunities across the board in Ecuador. But the first of those would be renewable energy and green technology. There is a need for more renewable energy in Ecuador. There is a need for green technology moving ahead as we all start to come out, or at least look towards coming out of the pandemic. We need to look at building back our economies in a greener, more sustainable and a more resilient way. And I think that's going to be true in Ecuador as well. So we need to look at the green technology that will allow us to do that, allow us to help Ecuador do that. Linked into that, I was talking to the finance minister recently about green financing, and particularly on the investment side, and about green bonds. So again, I think there's opportunities for the financial sector, the UK financial sector. I think there are opportunities to look at how do we develop green financing within the Ecuadorian financial sector. I mentioned earlier responsible mining. I think as we move forward, mining is one of the key revenue earners for the government, but mining has a mixed sort of history and a mixed reputation. And I think it's crucial that there is a drive for responsible mining within the country. There are issues, as I'm sure the minister will note, around illegal mining and around unlicensed mining. That gives the whole of the sector a bad name. But the returns for the government and the returns for companies can be hugely beneficial for the development of Ecuador. So I think looking ahead, looking at responsible mining, where the UK has global leadership, is one of the key areas I'd highlight. Again, looking at agri-tech, looking at developing agriculture, looking at developing the industrialization of agriculture. I mean, you drive around Ecuador and it's a fantastically productive country in terms of agricultural products. But a lot of it is on small scale, and a lot of it is not necessarily geared towards export in the volumes that are required for the larger markets. So again, look at how we can help with that. Agri-tech companies looking to use the latest technology to help the development of the agricultural sector and the aquaculture sector with the marine resources that Ecuador has, again, is another way. I know that we're already looking at developing the Marine Stewardship Council label for marine resources that are coming out of Ecuador. I think there are other opportunities with UK high tech in the agricultural sector. And I think the last one is about UK technological expertise in how to improve production, competitiveness, industrialization to a certain extent, and particularly to include volume in order to export those goods. You know, my job is not to promote Ecuadorian exports. My job is to attract UK imports into Ecuador, but UK exports to the UK create jobs in the UK. So there is this symbiotic relationship, and I have a real interest in it. I think the answer to the key question about what are the key areas for investment at the moment is Ecuador is at the cusp. They're at the cusp of opening to the world. And I think if you have a particular expertise, then talk to us in the embassy or talk to Pro Ecuador in London. We have a full team in the embassy who can help you with any inquiries. Emilia Cano is the name. And I know that Canning House will kindly be circulating her email address at the end of this session. But we can help you identify whether your product will have a market here and how we can work together to develop that. At the moment, as I say, Ecuador is the start of a 4-year journey. And I think everything is on the cards, everything is open. So I would say, look at us. We will give you honest and clear advice. If this is not a market for your product, we'll tell you. But if we think there is a market for you, then we'll do everything to help you do that. And we'll work together with Pro Ecuador in the embassy here in London to make sure that you get all the help that you need in order to do that. So I think that's probably enough from me as an introductory talk. Ecuador is at a really exciting time. We have a politically stable, economically stable country now in the region that has support from the international community, that shares our values, is looking to protect private sector interests, wants to attract investment. And together, we're more than happy to work with the government of Ecuador and make sure that we increase our bilateral trade to the greatest extent possible. And that's my homework for the next 4 years. So thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions whenever throughout the session, at the end of the session now, whenever James and Christina decide. But again, if you want more information or you want more help in terms of looking at Ecuador as a market, please contact Emilia Cano in the British Embassy in Quito, and she and her team will be more than happy to help you. Thank you.